Hi, everyone. I'm Brian, and thanks for listening to this first in a series of Libre Solo role-playing tutorials. I'm going to show you first how to make a character using the Libre Solo role-playing RPG rules. Now, you may be bringing in your own role-playing game rule set, so this may not apply to you, but listen in anyway and see if there's anything interesting you might find from this. I'd recommend that you do try out this particular game set with the rules first, because they fit together pretty nicely, and maybe once you get the hang of how it all works, then import your own rule set and see how that works. So anyway, I'm starting here with the summary sheet for character creation under the role-playing game rule set. It's on page 147 of the book, and it gives you the quick rundown of what to do. First, you select your attributes or values for them. Then you figure out your derived stats. Then fill in your untrained skills from your derived stats. Then assign skills. If you have powers, bring those into the game optionally. And then finally add equipment and a background and relationships for your character, and you're done. So all of this is actually very easy. As you can see here, as a copy of your blank character sheet, your attributes range from +1 to 0 to -1. +1 being good, 0 being average, that is for a heroic character, and -1 being poor or below average or less heroic, let's say. So if you choose, essentially what you need to do is to have all of your attributes add up to 0. So you can have a 0 in all 6 attributes, as in just be average in all things, average heroic, that is. Or you can choose to be especially strong and assign a +1 there, but then you need to assign a -1 someplace else, let's say for your savvy, and say that you're not particularly convincing or charismatic. So it's possible to do 6 zeros, a single +1, a single -1, and 4 zeros, 2 +1s, 2 -1s, 2 zeros, or 3 +1s and 3 -1s. Once you've got your attributes sorted out, you next go down to your base derived skills. That's physical melee and device ranged, animal vehicle, and so on and so forth. And you add up your attributes for each one to get your base skill. So if your strong was +1 and your hardy was 0, your physical melee skill is a base of +1. And your untrained is going to be 1 less than that. So if your base is +1, your untrained is 0. If your base is 0, your untrained is -1, and so on and so forth. Next, you've got 6 skill points for a starting character. For a starting character, you can assign in the following ways. First, there's the opportunity for 1 skill per point that you have. And what you do is you look at these skill groups, and you can also then use Appendix S in the game as a cheat sheet. It gives you a whole skill tree that you can derive your skills from. And as you look at the categories, let's say you want to have some social skills, you see that here in social, you have your skill groups of influence and interact. So individual skills underneath that are negotiate, deceive, appeal, intimidate, empathy, leadership, etiquette. You can choose one of these a piece for 1 skill point apiece. And when you choose a skill point, you get your base +1. So what'll happen is if you're physical melee, you had a base of +1, you're untrained to 0, and you now put 1 skill point into using a club. Then your club skill would be +2. Your base is +1, you're untrained to 0. You do that for all 6 skills, or you can combine 3 skill points to get a +1 in an entire skill category. Let's say you want to have the ability to use all types of guns, everything from a Derringer up through maybe heavy weapon machine guns, individual guns. Then you can, for 3 skill points, just take the entire skill group at a +1. The other option is you can take 3 skill points and put them into a power if you're allowing powers in your setting. Those would be either magic spells for settings with magic, psionic talents for a setting with psionics, or mental abilities, and then a special ability for those games allowing kind of superheroic style special abilities. Each one of those is based off of a different base skill. Again, it's derived like those other types of base skills, and you just write in what your base is. For your 3 skill points that you spend to get your power, you either get 1 special ability you can use as frequently as you'd like throughout the game. You get 2 psionic talents and 3 power points to use with them. So you can assign those 3 power points in any set of scenes, that is the scene and any follow-up scenes, up to 3 times until you exhaust that pool. Or you have 1 spell apiece that you can use for any set of scenes, meaning your on main scene and any follow-up scenes you have. For psionics and for magic, you need to have kind of a rest period in between in order to recover your point pool or to get your spells back. So that's pretty much it for all of those parts. You then decide what kind of signature gear or equipment you have. That's essentially part of your overall window dressing that will help you in your story. So write down whatever your character should have for their assets and vehicles and personal gear and so on and so forth. And then finally, bring in your patrons, allies, relationships, anything interesting with other people or organizations. Again, these will be important as you get down to the story. And that's it. That's all there is to putting together a character in Libre Solo Role-playing. The idea is it's supposed to be fast and simple, and you focus on the story. Again, thanks for listening, and next we'll go into some of the initial things about scene setup.